ultimately it's productivity of the end customers and their customer, their revenue goal, which is extremely important.
So Nirupam, you're right, absolutely. So I just want to take the view from Mr. Alok, like you do the technology. Until unless you implement the technology into the right hardware, the right way, you cannot do that. So Mr. Alok must have the right hand experience of the implementation of the technology and taking the heart to the customer and the user.
It is very important that whatever the technology is there, it has to be educated to the end customer. If it doesn't able to educate the end customer, the technology will not able to deliver what it is required. Even in today's terms, if we see the security has been merged, if we see the entertainment, it is got merged, or whatever we thought of, it's a different segments of the industries in the past last 10 years back. Now we see only one industry. It's a, we won't call it IT, I will just simply say a technology. It's all has been merged. Even if I have to get aware of it, I have to keep myself updated. If I won't able to update myself, then even being a manufacturer of one of the items or even a distributor for one of the items, I can well understand that the value-added resellers needs to update, needs to understand the technology, have to upgrade themselves for a better value added for themselves. If they are able to demonstrate the product, the technology to the end customer to make him understand that what are the features or what benefit they get out of the product, they will simply remain a box product. And for that, the resellers need to be get educated by whatever means they have. They need constant upgradations of their knowledge base, whether it's on the terms of the software or hardware or integration of one technology to the other, it needs that.
So you are absolutely right. We touch upon the new technology, we are talking about the SME, we are talking about the WAR. The second is we understand the integration of technology is very important, where there is a segment WAD plays the role, value-added distributor. So we have a person, Soumitra, he is a value-added distributor. So I would request Soumitra, you just tell how you place the things of technology in place as a value-added distributor with a component of the product. So can you give a light as a value-added distributor?
First and foremost, I believe we have to understand the client requirement. So everywhere it's a tailor-made. So it cannot be imposed because there will be constraint of funds, there will be a policy, there will be expectations from the customer perspective, and every project has its own dynamics. So there, as a value-added distributor, when I am going ahead...
Maintain the silence, please. Excuse me, madam, can you maintain the silence, please? Yeah, please.
When I am meeting a customer, my perspective is not to impose and increase my revenue. I need to understand the perspective and needs to enable so that the customer can harness the potential out of it in terms of the products and services. So everywhere I believe, whether it's a big government deal or a small deal or it's for the enterprise or a very small office in a block or a district, so they'll have their own challenges. There might be a challenge of connectivity, there might be a challenge of the available resources. So overall, taking the holistic picture in terms of products and services, we have to give a tailor-made solution in a bouquet which empowers the customer to harness the maximum out of it and optimize that, and that's the role of a value-added distributor when talking to a customer.
But you must be facing a lot of challenges and meeting the requirement of the customer. Okay, there are very type of customers are there. So like there's a component, there's a product, like there's the different technical specifications are there. So how do you match that? Like with the consultants you may work with understanding the technology?
See, basically, if you talk of the leaders or if you talk of the companies, I represent a couple of them in the network and network security. So there cannot be anything called proprietary specifications. It is, so it's not doable. It doesn't move in today's scenario, and it is not good because the customer has to buy. There's anything which is monopolistic over the period never existed. Today, all the monopolies have been shattered, and there are companies which have given competition, and at the end of the day, the customer has benefited. So what I'm saying that if suppose I'm selling a bouquet of products, so maybe I can educate the customer that maybe in a 10,000 rupees box, he has some 4 additional features where my competition will be giving it a 15,000 $20,000. So it is not in my interest, it is in the interest of the customer that he is buying the best product in that available existing funds. So that depends entirely on the requirement of the customer and the products what we handle or what we give as a solution. So there will be products in the market which will be coming from competition also. But obviously, if I am going with the customer, I believe in relationship and there's a trust factor and faith. So the customer always welcomes me because I am a solution provider. I am not a boxer.
So you are a consultant.
Yeah, I am a consultant.
Okay, thanks Samitra. So we touch upon the point, it's a very difficult job to understand the requirement of the customer. It is very much essential where the WAD has come to the picture. So now Nirupam said that there are many disruptive technologies are there. So when you start the disruptive technologies, so Colonel Baba can say that the technology is moving. So you have to cater to the mass, not for the few. You are doing for the public. So when you talk about the disruptive technologies, mobility, you talk about BYOD or BIOC, or big data, smart analytics, there are many things you have to rename it. Okay, as for the companies, corporates, they come with new technology, they have to come with your domain name or your technology. So this is for the shaping enterprise. Technology today is a global market. Are you ready for the change as the organization head, as a CEO? Are you ready for the change of the BYD policies? Do you think that?
If you really think, I can be frank, I think the government will always be a few steps behind, and we will always be, in terms of the newer technologies, much behind the others, and like you talking about BOID technology and all that, these are the factors. I think we are way behind in.
But no doubt, you are implementing the e-governance. When you implement the e-governance, who will use? The common man you use. How you reach to the common man?
See, the common man will use whatever e-governance initiatives which the government takes. It does it in a very, it does not, see, today you will provide access to the customer or the public to get services from the government. Now the modalities can change. You may eventually provide centers out at certain places, or eventually you may think of giving these services through the mobile phone, which have got a much greater access with the masses. So that is what the government thinks. So I mean, if you are going into this thing, so basically you provide services. If you take about, let's say, what railways have started doing now, they've provided, they're thinking of providing reservations through the mobile phones. But the challenges are also there. Yeah. If I book a railway ticket today through my mobile phone and tomorrow I want to cancel it, how do I get the refund? So these are certain challenges which every technology will this thing. And if you provide the e-governance services, what we basically do is that the government will be much more conservative in providing a solution, because I mean we will not be as in the private sector. What the private sector will do is you will allow various devices, your iPhones and your smartphones, and you allow your employee to access the network, because in that cases the government will always be much more behind and much more strict in terms of these things.
So Mr. Naik, you must be having facing challenge because you are the facility provider for the STPA part, whose our companies are taking the services. Do you think that your corporates, those who are taking the service, they ask for the BYD policies and BYD, you need to provide those products to them, the company? Those are in your part. You have a kiosk, right? You give facilities at the companies. You give some kind of services, BYD services or not?
Not like exactly the services, but whatever the BYD they actually want from us, actually we have also certain restriction, because being a government, as Mr. Baba told, we have to be restricted our policies and all. So we will not be, basically we are not a free hand like the privates. So we have to restrict our policies, and as per our requirement actually we give the regulation and all. So the point is, but we have to be again update ourselves because the new trend, new technology, we have to be things on that. But we are not exactly like the private who can give deliberately whatever they need and we can free and we can service to things.
Okay. So before I start the panel discussion, I had cross-checked with certain audience who are here. So they're talking about certain things and I catch up the certain points. I said, why don't you put the same question to our panelists where this is also a question from my side. Mr. Pawan also might be agree with the question. So the question is, it is from the question maybe from the audience. So the business of IT hardware industry are predominantly import dependent. And among us, the badly affected due to the abrupt fall of rupee, which has led to the rise in import cost and would be difficult to adhere the pricing of already committed contract. How are you gathered to face this challenge? So can you address Mr. Alok? Like you must have the right experience.
As a value-added reseller, it is quite impossible for me to face this challenge. I have no choice because our margins are not that much, which can afford to take this bump, which is almost like a 17 or 18% on a span of 3 months. And any contract which is going to be matured, whether in a big corporate or in the government sector, it needs at least 6 months. So it is very important that even it has to be raised to a level where all the contracts should have this criteria that the fluctuations on currencies should be tagged to the cost price. Otherwise, it is difficult for the value-added resellers to survive.
So Nirupam, you can give some light about the price.
I'm not the right person for that, but still, let me just put some perspective. In terms of, if you look at the current scenario and the kind of fluctuations that are happening, especially hardware provider, I mean, this is really a problem for the hardware segment especially. Okay. One very important aspect which all of us touched is in terms of thinking about solution. So if a customer is engaging with the channel, not only for the kind of hardware requirements or box requirements, but if he is really taking care of the overall services segment in terms of managed services plus hardware and even overall solutions perspective, then maybe the risk is a bit shared. I mean, the deal range is actually, the period of the deal also increases quite a lot. So there could be some bit of a risk sharing. So in the longer run, maybe 6 months, 7 months down the line, you can balance it out in some way or the other.
How you will balance it out?
I
You
would
think
agree
that
with
price
it.
will come down? The one price will come down?
So this is it. So this is in terms of the service you are providing. So maybe if it's a longer term deal, that's what I'm telling. So
how you give service when you are already squeezed up?
yeah, this is a problem.
So Manoj must have the first experience. He's laughing. So you must have how you face the challenge.
I'm laughing because he said it can be balanced.
Okay.
It's tough to balance because the price, it's all depend on price, dollar price.
Sir, you have given one price, Colonel Bawa. You have given one price. The tender has been fixed to the one price. That price, the delivery, the product has to deliver. The price is sorted out. He cannot. You cannot miss your deadline also. What are you going to do? How you facing this challenge?
That's really a big challenge. I'll just tell you about the project which was being implemented. I have not named the project.
Okay.
So we had, rather the government of West Bengal had fixed a certain price for certain products, which was done about a year back. I think more than a year back now. Unfortunately, when it was done, I think the dollar was around 52, 53. Today it is
65.
63. No, that 65 has come back to
Some paisa.
Yeah. So I understand that there is a pain for the people who are selling the products and even for the manufacturers because mostly everything is based on imports. And that is the biggest, like what our managing director was telling, that until you have a manufacturing sector which produces, because I mean in my opinion the first thing which was outsourced by the West or by the developed countries was manufacturing. Luckily the services have been outsourced much later, but the first thing which they outsourced was manufacturing, which India missed the bus. So we are way behind in manufacturing, and until the government is promoting the IT policy or promoting the electronic policy, until we can do that, these type of fluctuations and the way this fluctuation and the way the dollar has increased and the rupee has fallen, I'm sure everyone is going through the pain. And basically we have to then again go back to the government and ask for an increase, which again is a process which takes its time. And by the time what happens to the rupee, really one doesn't know.
So that you are told this is a really pain. So I have a small question, 1 minute for Praveen Das. So you understand it is a painful process. So how you are going to relax your supplier? Supplier who is yet to fill the tender, your requirement.
Say the ERV, the exchange rate variation. If you have gone through the last 3 or 4 months, the MATE, the Manufacturing Association of IT Products, they have taken up with the Government of India very strongly, and they got it approved. There will be an ERV clause in the purchase order. So if there is a big deal with the government, so you can have the ERV clause, you can insist on that if there is a fluctuation, by the time you have placed the order and by the time you are making the delivery, if it is more than 5% variation, you can ask the increased price. Then Government of India has agreed and made organization of MATE has spotted severely strongly.
10% increase.
Yes. So it is today it is a practice allowed by the government, and I agree with Mr. Garodia that nobody can take this hit. This is who will absorb. There is a 3 months there is 16% increase. It's not possible. We had placed order on HCL for 500 number of computers. The health department says that we need another 100 computers. I approached to HCL and said, can you maintain the price so that I could, with a small lead time, I need another 100. They said no, and they are very justified. I have to retender. So nobody can deny that today, as it is today, that ERV can be an essential part of the order. So it is up to us whether I would request that we should be aware of it. It is an accepted practice permitted by the government. In fact, it was there. I tell you, the long-term projects. I was working quite some time back in Hindustan Aeronautics HL, Bangalore, and we used to execute very long-term, 4 or 5 years project with Government of France, Government of British Aerospace, etc. And there used to be a exchange rate variation clause. When you are doing a project of 4 or 5 years, there has to be exchange rate variation, and there is to be a different clause that what will be the compensation if the dollar or euro changes. So it was there. So only for small, question comes for small time business sellers, there may be a small hit which probably somebody has to take, but in case of little more than 6 months or so, I would say you insist on ERP clause. That will give little bit of shield, little bit of hedge against the variation. But finally, of course, see, this type of variation cannot continue. It has to have some stability sometime. Today, I don't know, it is such a phenomena is such that nobody's prediction is seem to be working. Today, if you see, our finance minister has said that don't worry, the things will settle down and rupee will be stable. But we have been hearing it, but then nothing happened. This is such an area where nobody's forecast is going to really give the result. But let us see, hope for the best. Thank you.
I hope if any economist would be there in the event space, he can give us input like why this is a price increase, dollar increase. If an economist is there, I will have a 1 minute for him.
Narayanji can say something.
Any economist?
I am no economist. but I have interest in economics. I am a student of economics.
Oh, wonderful, sir. Can I have your introduction, please?
I am Narayan J. Sir, the best is yet to come. And going by my talks, personal talks with some of the economists, by the year end, you may have the dollar at 80 rupees. 80. The situation of the country, financial situation, economic condition very bad, and the government is not disclosing what is going on because the election of parliament is due in May 2014, but all preparations really start in February. So somehow they want that election should peacefully pass on. So as a business community and manufacturers or traders, we should be very careful about our future commitments. This much I can tell you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So we have an input from various cross-sections of people, experts, bureaucrats, industrialists, government, bodies, NESCOM, and we have an expert from the value distributor, wars, community. So what we have got, I don't have any takeaway from the event. So like what we could gather, understand that use of innovations in technology continues to have massive effect on business and society. Losses are accumulating, causing cash flow challenges and blocking investments. Weak rupee can impact government projects and programs like education, e-governance, healthcare, finance inclusion, etc. as they use IT products extensively. Business and government must think deeply about the opportunities and risks presented by evolving trends. With this, I extend my heartiest thanks to all the panelists for the valuable inputs, and we'll continue with the discussion during the networking dinner, and with a great hope on when and how the rupee will stop falling down. Hope it will not touch to 80 as you said, sir. And I have confidence on the technology companies. They will have more advanced system approach for some newer approach innovation. Thank you, sir. Thank you.